It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
We've got former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Newt, we're so thrilled to have you here. What do you make, first off, about the debate and now Kamala Harris changing all the plans, saying, no, I want to do it this way. I want to do it that way. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think Trump ought to be cheerful and calm. There's no reason for him to go on ABC. I have never liked debates in which the news media sets the agenda. I think they ought to go on C-SPAN and let each candidate ask the other candidate questions and have no reporter. I mean, nobody, all these guys are rigged.
You can't have a situation when the fix is in.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think he ought to cheerfully say, I'd love to debate you. Lincoln did 7 debates with Douglas. They did not have a single reporter. Each of them got a chance to speak. And they're the most famous debates in American history. And I think that, we wouldn't follow the same style they did because it was a different era. And they got to speak for like an hour and a half each or something. It was just amazing. But they were debates that defined the Civil War and defined the end of slavery, and they were extraordinarily important. I think if they had just a time moderator only, who would just go back and forth and then let each candidate have an opening comment and then, flip a coin and one of the candidates gets to ask the other a question and that candidate answers, then they get to ask it and let the 2 candidates decide what matters. I think that would be dramatically better than the kind of totally biased propaganda media effort that we have underway now.
It was amazing, Newt Gingrich. Over the weekend, I brought up how Senator Tom Cotton, I don't know if you saw this, but here it is, Jonathan Karl with ABC interviewing him. And you might as well, I thought it was almost like a surrogate for the Kamala Harris campaign. He was challenging everything he said, saying that's not true, and he's like, and he was bringing up some of these points that, look, how could it be fair? And yet, he didn't seem to want to accept it. And now Trump is saying, wait, she's changing the rules. I agreed to a debate with Joe Biden. They switched it out to Kamala Harris. I agreed to the same terms. And now they want to switch it again.
Well, I will say this. I don't believe Trump needs a debate. I mean, I think it'd be nice if they could arrange one if it was going to be fair. But I don't think he should give an inch. And he should certainly not allow the propaganda media to define his future. She is going to find in a few weeks that she needs the debate because as people get to know more about her, she's going to collapse.
She hasn't made a single press conference. She's only spoken to the press through the teleprompters.
Right. That's because they do not trust her to be out in the open, and they think if they don't fix everything in advance, that she'll look dumber than Joe Biden used to look.
Newt, who's the puppeteer?
Well, I mean, if there is I'm not sure there's a puppeteer per se, but if there was one, it'd be Barack Obama. I mean, he's far and away the most influential person in the Democratic Party.
Hey, Newt, this is Pete King. First, I agree with your analysis. My only concern is, could the media, again, gang up on Trump as they have already, but say he's ducking the debate and make him out to be the villain here? How would you counter that if you were running Trump's campaign?
I'd say, let's meet on C-SPAN Tuesday. I'm eager to debate.
Equal, one-on-one. One-on-one.
You and me.
No ABC television where,
right.
They have the same people there that fed the questions out to
Donna Brazile.
Donna Brazile.
Yeah, and the executive, one of the top executives at ABC Network is good friends with Kamala Harris. I mean, that to me already should exclude them.
I mean, Trump could also say, look, you don't like C-SPAN, fine. Let's get in an auditorium, and we'll have you and me and a timekeeper, and I'll be glad I'll debate you every day from now to the election.
Absolutely. He's not running any place. He just wants a fair and square debate.
And he deserves it.
And
absolutely. Well, and the American public deserves it.
I do not believe. I watched him this morning at Arlington National Cemetery do what either Biden or Harris should have done, and that is honor those who died defending America in Afghanistan. And I watched him and was reminded how presidential he's capable of being. And I don't think if you said the average person, do you think that Donald Trump is afraid? They would laugh at you. Given everything Trump's been through, he's proven how tough he is. He's proven how committed he is. And I think you ought to say cheerfully, look, I'd love to do it. We could emulate Lincoln and Douglas.
I think C-SPAN's a great idea, Newt.
But I ain't doing it with your friends hiding you and your friends setting it up so I'm going to be double and triple teamed. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, Judge Weinberg.
The country would rally to him.
Mr. Speaker, it's good to talk to you again, sir. So let me ask you a question. How do we expose the real Kamala Harris as an empty pantsuit and get the record out, her phony record, and how she's trying to walk away? How do you do that when you have the biased media closing down everything and not letting the record come out?
Oh, I think, if the election was next Tuesday, I'd be worried. But the election, even in the early voting states, is weeks and weeks away. The American people talk to themselves all the time. And I said before the Biden-Trump debate, I wasn't worried because 2 days after the debate, people would go out and buy groceries and remember how mad they were about the Biden administration. I feel the same thing right now. I just had a friend call me from Detroit who was in a drugstore. Two African-American women clerks. They got to talking politics. And both of them said to him, we're not voting for that crazy person. And he assumed that they were talking about Trump. No, they were talking about Kamala. They just said, we can't afford her. We can't afford groceries. We can't afford gasoline. We can't afford to buy a house. Why would we put her in office?
I mean, me and you spoke on Sunday, on the Sunday show, and we came to pretty good conclusions that this Democratic National Committee gig in Chicago was one big con game to the United States public.
Yeah, that's all it was. And the challenge, Lincoln once said, you can fool all the people some of the time, some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time. And he was basically saying he had enormous trust in public sentiment because people over time are smart. Joseph Napolitan, who was a Democratic consultant, wrote a book called The Election Game and How to Win It. And the quote at the beginning of the book is, never underestimate the intelligence of the American people, nor overestimate how much information they have. Information is going to keep getting out there. I'm just writing a piece for Gingrich 360. It'll be my newsletter tomorrow or Wednesday about the space station. I mean, you have two astronauts up there.
It's a joke.
Guess who was the chair of the National Space Council? Oh, it turned out to be the vice president.
Right. The border czar.
She can't stop illegals from coming across the border, and she can't get her own astronauts back from space. Now, how many more examples of her incompetence do we need?
It's horrible. I mean, I can't believe we're going to call. Well, I think they're going to call the Chinese for help. I saw that movie one time.
It's not a good movie.
Well, we're actually going to call on SpaceX, which does the job less expensively and is more reliable.
Newt Gingrich, thank you, and keep fighting for America. We're there next to you, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Newt.
Thank you, Newt.